Okay, there we go.
There we go.
No, but something is going on with yeah, now we're there. All right, so happy Thursday, everybody. There we go.
Yes.
We was getting nervous because I was like, hold on, what's going on here? It is Thursday. So what that means, it is Brother Empowerment. So if this is your first time watching Brother Empowerment, this is a show where we help brothers to break through without breaking. So this is not a bashing show. So this is not coming on here saying shoulda, coulda, woulda, but this is an opportunity for us to have a healthy conversation and look at things from different perspectives. So before we really get into the discussion, first thing, bro, how was your week?
This week has been excellent, for real, man. I can't even say too much of anything bad really about this week. I saw you and my nieces on Monday. You know, been working, but really, just really been chilling. The biggest thing about this week is that my mom is in town.
Mom.
No, my mom.
Hey, Mom.
She is in town. She got here last night. She got special permission from the Navy to come into town. She'll be here for a couple of days, so I'll be seeing you pretty much throughout the whole weekend. So I'm geeked, man. I'm like this week is set for me. I get to see my mom and spend time with the fam this weekend. So like this week has been lit, man. I'm good. So
what a blessing.
I'm actually excited because that means your mom here, I'm gonna get to eat double. I can't wait. That means I'm gonna eat on Saturday, on Sunday. I'm excited about the fact that your mom is here, but just like you, man, this week has really been a nerve-wracking good week. It's a lot of great things that are happening for Love is a Parable. I can't share just yet,
right,
but there are some great things to let you. I will say this already, man. If you feel like you putting in something that's your purpose, don't waver, because it will yield the reward that you are looking for when you least expect it. So I'm excited. The leadership team is excited, but you know what? Enough about this, because I've been waiting actually for this week, because this week is just as important to me as some of the other weeks we had, because I love the fact that we're having this Brother Empowerment. So let our guests introduce them. Angela, you went to a dark spot though.
Yeah.
We can't see your face. But Angela, go on and introduce yourself first.
Is this better? No?
You went to the darkness.
Yeah.
It's going to be so funny when you introduce what you do.
Oh, God, yeah.
What you do.
I have like a light setup going on here, like a professional video set. I'm a photographer and videographer. I have my own photography and video production company here in Durham. It's called ANGH Studio. You can look me up on all social media at ANGH Studio, mainly on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as YouTube. I also have a video podcast called Honey and Hustle, and I've had Dwayne on there, so look forward to his episode. And that is a podcast that features just conversations with small business owners, creative entrepreneurs here in the Triangle. And we talk about topics that are relevant to people who are wanting to start a business, who are in business and looking to grow and scale, or people who are just looking for rejuvenation in their business. How can they get insights on how to conduct their business better, for growth, for prosperity, for success? So thank you so much for having me out.
Definitely. Thank you for coming on, for sure.
I'm excited too. I can't wait to hear what you got to say. While Angela can find some better light, talking about videography, and you don't went to the darkness. But
okay.
Yes, going to introduce yourself, Miss Misha.
Hey everyone, my name is Misha Davis, and I am a makeup artist. And the name of my business is Just Trust Blush. I've been doing makeup probably for almost 15 years. And it's truly a blessing to have watched myself grow over the years, especially when Time Hop kindly reminds you of some makeup that you've done probably 5-6 years ago that looks hideous and compared to what you're doing now. But I'm excited to be on Brother Empowerment.
I'm excited to have you. See, and I'm not gonna say your government on all these interwebs. I promise. I won't even do it. I won't even do it. So my brother, go on and introduce yourself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm Terrence Elmore. I am an author and poet. I have two books. First book is Love Letters, a collection of poems, and I just recently
Oh,
released my second poetry
A
book,
little bit. Bring up the other one a little bit.
The Essence of Love.
You can't see it. Yep. Bring it over. Bring it over. There we go.
okay.
And then I recently released this one. This is the second one. And my poetry is based around love, trying to show people a different light of love because everyone seems to think that love has to be pain, which love is not pain. It's beautiful, just as long as you embrace it and embrace it with the right people. I have a blog. It's the brownsugarcafe.blog. And I also can be reached on Instagram, the Brown Sugar Cafe, and also Facebook, the Brown Sugar Cafe.
Okay, that's what's up, man.
Well, the reason why I'm actually pretty stoked about this is because Terrence and I went to the same undergrad.
Word.
We went to the wonderful Benedict College in the heart of Columbia, South Carolina. Yep. And so we knew each other there, but we both started our love movements at the same time.
Okay.
And so I have his book, and I have his first book. I got to get the second book. And I love he uses his words so strategically that it's a simple approach, but a large impact. And so you sitting there like, I never thought about that, but yet it's so simple and it makes a lot of sense. So if you haven't had an opportunity to get his book or his books, you need to get them. Go ahead and get them. Definitely support. The guy's dope. I'm just going to tell you that. So when you read it, you won't be disappointed. Are you going to do an audio to your books?
I've been toying with the idea. I'm not really sure. Maybe.
You talking about maybe? That sounds like a no. Like, no, y'all been reading y'all.
I might.
Well, I'm gonna have to get your book, Terrence.
Yes, please. They're on my website, thebrownsugarcafe.blog. You can get autographed copies from there. I prefer you get them from me, but if you must, you can get them from Amazon.
I need to get mine autographed. I need to make sure that happens. But anyway, we got Misha. Misha has been my friend for I don't know how long. How long is my friend? Anyway, me and Misha used to work together in higher ed. It's been since 2009, right?
2009, 2010. Mm-hmm.
Miss Misha was a friend of mine because she came in this world giving my kids gifts, and she gives good gifts, good expensive gifts.
Okay, always good.
Because she don't give them cheap gifts. None of her gifts came from Walmart. None.
No, they sure
None. And I said, in person like no, but for real, Miss Misha became my friend, man. We worked together. She cussed me out. She cussed everybody out. And then you fell in love with her. You was like, this woman is perfect. I just want to be around her forever. But yeah, Misha is dope.
Did I cuss everybody out?
Everybody. And y'all know, everybody know I like extreme personality, so y'all know I egged it on.
No, I remember that time you told me. I was just going in and you was like, friend, you know, you might need to just kind of tone it down just a little bit. And I was like, no, I don't feel like toning it down. I have a lot of my grandma in me. I am truly Viola Dingle, all in a big shell. Like I'm truly her.
We on the phone telling students, you can change your life. This is all you got to do. And you hear, F you. I don't care what you got to do. She talking to somebody else. It's not you. We still trying to change your life.
Don't mind that.
Don't mind that.
You know,
And then we got
was the first HBCU I think I ever worked for.
And then we got Angela on, man, who's just a dope videographer, guys. If you haven't seen her content, so make sure you get over there to Honey and Hustle.
I'm gonna have to Angela. You know,
you
I bought a really nice, expensive camera. I want to know how to really use it to my benefit.
I think it goes the other way, Miss Misha. You want to use her services. I think that's how.
I do want to utilize her services, but where do you live? Like, I don't know.
But if she can guide me in this process, you know, I'm always down for the guiding, and I'm paying for understanding on how to use stuff.
Her face got super straight. Well, I am going to utilize her face.
Hold on, we gotta get to these comments. Hey,
sis.
We got Joey on.
Hey, Joy.
Hey, Joy.
Mama said, "Hail, everyone, hail."
Hey,
See, I said that's our mom.
Sis, since you said it, it's okay.
You nasty. You don't have to be that way.
What's up, Nettles?
What's going on, Deshaun? Is that your cousin?
My cousin Deshaun. Hey, cuz we gotta get a plan to get you on the show, man. We can't do any impromptu just cameos. Can't do that. Maybe next week or something like that. But we got you though. We got you.
He said, "Have your people call his people."
I need an email.
Jasmine is on. Hey, Jasmine. We still need to get our class, Jasmine.
Oh yeah, I need to learn how to spend money better. I mean, not at all.
Right, or save it, or do whatever we're gonna do with this money.
All of that.
Superman is on.
What's good, bro? What's good, man?
She gonna beat you up. You said, Miss. I ain't scared of Miss Misha. I love to see
I hate that. It sounds so slavish.
Jasmine says she got to pick up your book. Terrence, we're gonna make sure that guys, make sure y'all connect with one another because it's a lot of great people.
Yeah.
And if we were gonna have, actually, I wanted to bring him up for our anniversary.
Okay.
So Terrence can speak and all of that good stuff too. Nichelle is on. What's going on?
Hey, Joy, how you doing?
It's Joey.
Joey, excuse me.
Okay.
What the yell at for?
Mama said, "Oops, hey, mom." I like hail everyone better, mom.
Yeah, that was.
And she said she got y'all.
Appreciate that.
So we're gonna get into the discussions. Y'all ready?
Let's do it, man.
What's going on?
Hey, Chanel.
Hey, Chanel. No, you gotta give her a better one. It was dry. Go.
Hey, Chanel, what's up? I gotta yell at folks now. I can't say you just hide them. I gotta yell at folks now.
Okay, so you know we gotta talk about it. Oh, we got some people on Instagram.
What's up, Instagram?
What's going on, Derek? What's going on, Karen? I don't know who the other one is. All Natural. I don't know who that is, but hey, because I can't see that far.
What's up?
So let's talk about it. Y'all heard about Austin? I mean August.
August Alsina?
Yeah. I'm talking about Austin.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear he done told all the business?
I've heard.
Hey, let's
Yeah.
the ladies thing. Let me hear the ladies thing first. Come on, what the ladies thing? Oh, no, not all at once either. Come on.
I've heard about it. I've actually I'm probably the social media queen. Mm-hmm. And when I saw the article, well, the interview with him and Angela Ray, I was like so taken aback. I was like, oh wow. But I also believe in staying out of people's marriage and business. So if whatever's going on between Will and Jada, if it works for them, I say high five.
Right.
But I was completely shocked, but then not surprised, if that makes sense. Because they've always talked about how open their marriage has been, but they're lifetime partners. So which means that I guess infidelity can play a role in that. So I guess if it works for the goose, it works for the gander. Hell, I don't know. If it works, it works.
Don't mind that we used to work together. She's a little.
I just don't believe in sharing my good stuff with nobody.
Angela, what you got?
Yeah.
I don't know that much about it, and I'm definitely not in favor of being in an open relationship. But I mean, hey, if it works for them, let it work. I just think the timing is a little suspicious that it's right after like Father's Day and all this type of stuff, because I think like August having a relationship with the family as a whole had been like known for a while. I don't know. But it's like young men date, or like old men date young women all the time. Let Jada get hers. Let it happen.
I guess. I guess if it works for him.
Mr. Love, what you got over there?
What's the essence of this?
It's just it's weird to me. I mean, to each his own. Personally, that's not my thing, but I'm pretty sure that if they had that sort of arrangement that he's not supposed to be talking about it with other people.
Right.
And I'm just like, where is this coming from, and why are you doing this now? And did you even talk to them about it? I mean, that's y'all business or whatever, but I just think it's a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also wonder, just to piggyback off of what Terrence said, I also wonder if it was strategic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it came out and now all of a sudden it's a conversation on the red table.
Yep.
So I wonder if it was strategic to kind of put them on the limelight, to make it a topic of discussion. You know, the Pinkett Smith family has always been kind of open about, you know, the way that they live their lives. So I wonder if it was strategically planned for him to do this, because think about it, it's been hush hush. People talked about it. We kind of hinted. We just didn't know. And then all of a sudden, boom, bam. Here you go. Yep. Will gave me his wishes.
Dropping an album.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I guess I'll jump in there. So one, when it comes to celebrities and social media and show business, my first thought is always, like you said, strategy, planning, PR, all that stuff. Half the stuff that comes out that people say when it comes to these celebrities, I think is a publicity stunt, and that's just my first thought. It may not be. That's what my mind jumps to. And then, of course, like Yvette said in the comments, he just put out a new body of work. He's back on the scene. So it all could be planned, like you said. The other thing I was thinking about was, one, like everybody has said, what goes on in their marriage, in their household, and their connections they have with people is their business. And I think it was a little weird that he was talking about so in depth. So I said on a post on Instagram, I was talking about how it's funny that, you know, there's quite a few men out there who say that women talk too much. They're always gossiping or this and that. But you get a dude who's in his feelings or something don't go his way, he might tell it all.
It's a word.
He might tell it all. I mean,
did you say a word, Jada?
A lot of gossiping dudes out there who just got chatty spirits, and it's really sad to see. The other thing I want to say is that, you know, I don't know if everybody knows, but you know, August Alsina used to be addicted to, I think, Percocets, and so during that time when he was going through it really bad and trying to get off of them, I know that the Smith family, Jada especially, helped him through a lot of that. So I think some of what he was saying, I definitely think he got, for lack of a better phrase, hooked on her or infatuated, whatever you want to say. But I think that when she might have reeled it in, being like, hey, you know, I'm still married, and this is, you know, it ain't gonna be like that. I think he got a little, I think he hurt just because. I think he, say what? No,
I know that.
Yeah, I think it was more than just, you know, he wanted to be. I think it was a little bit of like endearment and all that too. And I do think when I watched the interview, I think he was hurt a little bit. But I really think he should have really also just kept his mouth shut, like a lot of people are saying. Like, you shouldn't be talking about that kind of stuff. Because if it started between y'all, was kept between y'all, then it needs to stay between y'all. And that kind of stuff, it just brings me more away, man. I don't like when dudes flap their gums about stuff like that. It's not only their business to tell. It's not only your business to tell, so you shouldn't be telling anything.
Yeah, I'm real skeptical about people who run their mouth when they're mad.
Yeah.
Well, any form of intoxication, because anger is nothing more than a form of intoxication. Jealousy is a form of intoxication. Under any type of influence, if you run your mouth, I'm already skeptical about you anyway. And I watch that. It's just like how people, you know, all of a sudden they lovey-dovey, but then they mad and tell the whole world when they mad about somebody. I'd be like,
Yeah.
So I definitely look at that. Karen said, I think that August was wrong. You agreed to be part of the relationship, but got mad because it didn't go the way that you wanted. He knew all the rules and guidelines. So if he couldn't handle it, he should not have agreed to be a part of the situation.
Yeah, I agree with
So
that.
can I touch on this topic for 1 second? Karen. This is the thing. Jada is way older than August. We all understand that. So the maturity levels are totally different. So yes, I totally agree with her. But then we're dealing with someone that's way more younger than she is. So the maturity level just isn't there. So yes, he's going to act out. Yes, he's going to get caught up in his feelings. I'm going to go back to something. What's his name said? The comedian Schuler. What's his name, y'all?
Adam?
I can't call him.
Schuler. Hold on, Schuler. Who is Schuler? I don't know who Schuler.
Sumter, the little black guy. What's his name? Oh God, I can't call his name. But anyways, his last name is Schuler. I can't think. I saw him on Instagram, and it tickled my spirit so bad because he was talking about a younger man talking to an older woman, and he said something about you're not ready for that because the maturity levels just isn't there. And I just think, in August's defense, he's very immature. Maybe he was looking for something out of it, and it didn't go the way that he wanted. So in his defense, he acted out, and that's what you get when you're dealing with the immature young man.
Schuler came
with a more mature man, then it's a different story.
Yeah, I say exactly what you're saying. To a degree, I agree. I would just say that I think that's giving him a little bit too much of a pass. I mean, it's not like she's 50 and he's 12 or 18 or 20. August is in his 30s. And if he's not emotionally mature enough to handle something like that, then I think that he should just admit that, or just he shouldn't have gotten.
I didn't even know he was in his 30s. You just educated me, Cordell.
You know why? Because you're acting like Miss Misha. Come on, I thought he was a baby.
I thought he was a baby too.
Nah, he's not 18, 19 years old. Like August Alsina is, I believe he is in his 30s, but she's not dealing with a baby. She's dealing with a grown man who has some life experiences and should be in control of his emotional faculties. So I, as a man who's in my 30s, can't give him that.
But also, he has been known for having these type of issues. Like, that's also why he doesn't go back to Louisiana, because he's known for being a snitch.
Yeah, and I'm not going to.
Oh wow,
he's known for being a snitch. And not only that, he does have drug issues.
Yeah.
And I think Yvette said it. Like, I don't think that it's quote unquote a maturity issue. But I've talked on this show a lot of times about, I just have a problem when people confuse the relationship that you have with people, because some people are sent to be your patient. And you need to help heal people, not be sleeping with them. And when you sleep with the patient, you really mess up the medicine. So knowing his past already, that was just something sketchy to deal with already. And being that he has those issues and he came because of an issue, I think the last thing that should have happened was a relationship. And that's what happens with a lot of people. We date or we marry people that we were just supposed to heal. Not supposed to be our life partner. We were supposed to provide a service, help them, and move on. And yes, there's going to be several attractive people that's going to come in your life that you're going to have to help. But you got to know, like, oh no, this person, I'm just supposed to help. I'm supposed to guide. I'm supposed to do that. And if you can't control that, it's going to be dangerous, because what's going to happen? When more and more attractive people come, it's like, you got to be able to handle that. That's a lot of people's downfall.
Yeah. And I think he's not in his 30s, he'll be 28 this year. So I need to walk some of that back. I still stand by what I said, but he's 28, not 30.
So to Misha's point, he's a baby.
He is. He's still a baby.
Now, if we look at it from a college perspective, he only been legal for 2 years because he ain't got no kids. So he's basically a dependent of his parents until he's 26.
Well,
Nichelle says she thinks he's like 27, 28.
Yeah, well, I looked up his age. He'll be 29 this year, or excuse me, 28 this year. Excuse me.
Look, see, Antoine, that's your cousin?
No.
Antoine said that she.
Oh, that's your cousin. And Sam's like, I claim him. He's mine. He said, "Man, I feel like she preyed on that man." No, she got a sex addiction.
How like I do it?
He said she preyed on him.
I mean, no, that's why I said before, like, yeah, she was helping. He did say that family, especially Jada, helped him through his addiction when he was going through that. And so I think that might have been part of it, even still, like.
But that's when the relationship pursued. So, I mean, I'm knocking him for running his mouth, but at the same time, if we're going to talk about accountability, I don't think it's a maturity thing. I think it was just you sleeping with a patient.
Some choices were made that
right,
were not good choices.
What Tina just told you, hey, Terrence,
hey,
she said your whole name. So she didn't tell us, hey, y'all. And then she was like,
that's right. That ain't no baby.
See that? You know what though? I'm gonna say it though, but that's part of the problem though. Some of these people are babies, and y'all be having these long arguments and these discussions with these.
I'm telling you,
with these young kids. I'm trying to tell you now. These people, some of these people are babies, and y'all be arguing with them, and y'all be like, y'all look like
just wasting your time, Jay.
I be like, y'all just don't realize, like, no, for real. Like a lot of stuff has changed, and this guy really missed some parts of development. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like he's been on drugs, known to be on drugs. He's known to be in a snitch. He's known to have a rough background, and it's kind of, maybe Jada knew what she was doing.
Well, I'm gonna say she made an active choice. So
she was like, I like people with issues.
Maybe she thought the risk was worth the reward, and you're seeing the risk kind of play out now because he just singing. Man, he was up there singing.
And then he's so emotionally attached where he's saying that he could die now because he's giving himself to somebody. It's like that's somebody's wife.
Yeah.
Well, can I touch on
a whole wife?
Let's say this real quick. So I'm about to get a little deep.
Go ahead. We there with you. We right there with you, about to dive into. Go ahead.
So I wonder if August is having mama issues, because sometimes when we have mom issues, we associate dad issues. We associate our partner in that light. So I wonder, and if I'm correct, I don't really know this young man's life, but if I'm correct, I don't think his mom passed away at a young age or something, and I think his sister was left to raise him or whatever. But I wonder if he's looking at Jada, and I know this sounds crazy, but more in a motherly figure, but attracted to her. Because I'm being honest, men who have mama issues and stuff like that, they tend to kind of gravitate to those women that that's giving them something that mom never gave them, or vice versa.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know what? We always talk about energy. So this is what we don't talk about. And now this is not even blaming Jada, but this is also understanding the maturity of the presence that you bring, the spirit that you bring, the connection that you have. Jada has a history of people going crazy over her anyway. So she has a way to entice people. So when you have that type of aura where you can get people to act outside of their natural element, that's something serious. And I know some people saying she had an addiction, but sometimes a lot of people don't talk about the fact that a lot of people have strong hypersexual energy, and it drives some people crazy, and they can't deal with it. And so sometimes when you know that if you have a history of making people crazy, and we hear people talk about all the time, like, I can't get into just a relationship with anybody because people go crazy around me. This was once a person who's already known to go crazy, and a person that was extremely young, and Jada know that she got that effect on people. It's just been who she is. She got that effect on men and women because of who Jada is. And so people have always, kind of clung to her uniquely. And so you kind of got to be mindful of the energy that you bring. We always talk about negative energy, but we don't talk about sexual energy enough. Like we should talk about positive energy. You know what I mean? Somebody said something on her Red Table Talk. She said that she had a sex addiction. That's what Antoine said. August said that they were blocking his money and talking about him. So he was like, all bets are off.
Oh, he said he gonna tell it all. You gonna block my money.
I need my money.
Oh, yeah,
he started singing.
So that's why he's singing.
Did that help the problem, man?
Kim said that thing drove him crazy.
Hey, the power of how the song go,
Piss Harris said more off for me. LeBron James twin.
Why is he?
That's funny. It's usually Kim with you. Look at
his face. Like, whatever, bro.
He definitely have mom issues. He made it clear on the interview with Angela Yee.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I did hit it home.
Yeah, so
It's
we,
a mom
You
issue.
better let these people know you got your little behavioral health degree.
yeah. Well, and that's something that
Come on.
that's something that seeps out in a lot of different ways, and some people just really there's quite a few brothers, unfortunately, out here that have mom issues, and especially in our community, if a relationship between a black man and his mother is so delicate and so nuanced that some men won't even talk about the love-hate relationship they have with / for their mother because of how it looks. There's some men who can't stand their mother but won't talk about it because it's damn near sacrilegious in the community to talk bad about your mother as a black man, no matter what kind of mom she is / was.
I've actually, just to kind of piggyback off of you, Terrence, I actually had a family member of mine, mom relationship was toxic. It was real toxic. And I actually think, and I felt that his abuse towards women was because of the hatred he had towards his mom. Nothing against them, but it's serious abandonment and mom issues. And you have to understand that in order to understand where he was coming from. And it was really sad to see that as a child growing up. Yeah,
it comes out in a variety of different ways, and it's extremely damaging and just poisonous for sure. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely think that we have to start. We got to understand that sex is more than just pleasure.
Yeah.
We talk about this a lot, but people still don't seem to get it. Like, sex is a form of communication. So a lot of things happen when you have sex. It's a transfer. It's a transfer of thoughts, ideas, beliefs, so on. And so a lot of times you may be engaging in pleasure, but you might take on something that you're not able to deal with. So you don't know a lot of times what a partner is holding on to. So when you actually engage in sex, it has nothing to do with your age. You might take on something that you're not prepared to handle. And we're not just talking about STDs.
Right.
We're really talking about things are real. Thoughts are real. People change. That's why when people sleep with certain people, they act totally different. All of a sudden, there's different anger issues. The same thing happens when people watch television. That's why it's called television. You can watch certain shows now, all of a sudden you're engaging in different dialogue, having different drama. It's so many different things that happen on. So you gotta make sure that you're guarding all of your gates and guard what you actually are communicating with. We're talking about that's verbally, non-verbally, through body, through sex, physical sex, intimacy. You got to make sure that you are prepared for that, because it's a lot of things that you will take on that you didn't even realize you was taking on.
Yep. Thanks.
Sometimes it's not direct abuse or abandonment between son and mother. Sometimes those mommy issues are rooted in how the father treated the mother in the home. You just come out swinging.
Great point.
Brandon just come out. She's a big time blogger, so she's coming with the heat anyway.
How you said that?
Yeah, she's a blogger. Karen said there are so many toxic mothers out there. The effect they have on their children is worse than fathers that choose not to be involved in their children's lives.
Absolutely right.
But you won't hear something.
God. Thank you, Karen.
Attachments are real. Whatever energy you are around, be careful. It don't attach to you. Real talk. Come on, Antoine.
Yep, and you'll never
That's
hear
true,
them talk about it because of how it looks and how they feel they may sound.
Shema, that's how I'm a weirdo. I can't pick up too much foreign energy.
You're not weird.
But you know what? Karen's comment made me think about this. Shout out to those fathers who are not around their kids because they rather take the blame than allow their kids to grow up knowing the truth about their mother. As we're doing Brother Empowerment, we're finding out that a lot of fathers just took the blame because they felt like at least that child has a healthy relationship with their mother. And I'll explain more when I grow up. So we've been having a lot of conversations with men privately, and a lot of them have just been taking the bullet because they don't want to call the mama toxic because of that. Because a lot of people are old school and believe that I'd rather my child have a healthy relationship with their mom. I will sacrifice my relationship so they can have a relationship with their mom. And it's a lot of men that are hurting, that want to be with their kids, but they love their kids so much they don't want to damage the relationship with their mother. And that part isn't talked about.
Wow.
So my question is this: how do you challenge that? And having healthy relationships, because at the end of the day, I feel like girls need their dads. They need to know what it's like to be loved by a father. I always said this, and I tell my girls this all the time. Your first love should always be your dad. That's going to be the first love. That's going to be the first person that's going to show you how a man should treat you. The same conversation I've had with my own husband. Those are the conversations that we have all the time, is that first love, because I grew up in a single parent home. So I already knew what it felt like to, the only thing that I know and I saw was a single parent taking care of 3 kids. That's it. However, my grandfather was my father and my grandfather. That's kind of who I saw as a male role model. So my thing is how do we challenge that so that fathers, well, those that are in toxic relationships or those that are unable to work it out, like how do you challenge that so that the kid can get the best of both worlds? Like it's just not fair to the kid that he gets to sacrifice, you know, his relationship with his child all because he wants his mom to have a relationship with the child. Like I'm just not down for that. Like at the end of the day, when you guys were sitting down creating it, you was getting along. So why you can't get along now?
Well, Misha, I can't tell your story, but you know that you are like, the way that you look at things is a blessing. You know that. So
yeah, I'm all about the children, because at the end of the day, they're affected. And the way that they grow up to be citizens in this world is their upbringing, and the things that they see every day. I always tell family members, kids learn less about what you say and more about what they see. So you can preach all day long, but if you ain't living what you preaching, they ain't listening.
Right.
Angela and Terrence, what y'all got based off what Miss Misha said?
I don't have kids. I don't know. These are honestly things I've not thought about. Like
I don't even want to think about it.
And said, this is just too much.
I'm just being honest. Like this is a lot. It's a lot to think about when you bringing a child into this world, and that's just.
Yeah, at some point, be honest with you, have to set aside your personal differences that you have with your child's father and co-parent in a discussion. You just do it. Because it's not about you, it's not about them, it's about the child.
Yeah.
What you got, Terrence?
Yeah, just to piggyback on what she said about the fathers having a relationship with their children. A lot of times what we talk about the most is not having a father figure around affecting the boys, but it affects the females as well. It's like that's an important part of the family, is having a father in the family. And what you just said a while ago about a lot of fathers taking the bullet just because they didn't want the mother to look bad, that's my first time hearing anything like that. And that's crazy that you have to come to that sort of decision just to make sure your child is okay.
Well, let's talk about some things. I'm from Augusta, Georgia. Georgia was always in favor of the mother. So if you weren't married to the mother, you had no rights. So the mother could legitimately say, no, I don't want him to sign the birth certificate. And guess what? You don't sign the birth certificate. In the state of Georgia, you could have signed the birth certificate, but if you're not married, you still don't have access to that child. You can't go pick them up. You can't do any of that because it goes in favor of the mother. You have to go through the court system. Unless the laws have changed, you have to go through the court system to even get custody and the right to certain things. So depending on the state law, it is in favor of the woman, and the woman has jurisdiction over what can happen in that child's life. Additionally, if we want to talk about things we don't talk about, the big elephant in the room is that a lot of people don't think that men are efficient in taking care of children, even though we know that that is a lie. And even from a statistical standpoint, that Black men are more active in their children's life than any other race, there still is a negative stigma associated with it. And then that, because of the negative stigma associated with it, we're in turn telling men that, you know what, it's better off with the mom anyway, so just leave it alone. Leave it alone. And so now, because Terrence, before this, I didn't have that view either. But after talking to and looking at some of the things that went on, I remember this girl that I was with in college, and she told me, if you ever get me pregnant, you'll never know about it. I had a child and you won't even know. So I know that there are some women out there like that, but I also know that there are some men that are walking around with shame and dishonor on them. And it's all because they do rather their child have a relationship with their mom. And they're sacrificing that. And that hurt me when I heard it. And we're hearing it quite frequently now, where it's not what people think it is. And a lot of people don't want to hear it, because here's the thing. When you are a custodial parent, you got all the opportunity in the world to tell your narrative. So you can build up your case in privacy with that child. And guess what? Now it's time for the child, because they're going to ask Dad, where were you? Why didn't you come around? And a lot of children, it's hard for them to hear, your mama didn't want me around, so I didn't know where you were. I didn't know your address. I didn't know how to find you. I asked your grandmother, they said they wouldn't tell me. I looked for you. I Googled you. It's so many of those stories that are happening now that are a little bit different that we don't talk about enough of. I'm not talking about the deadbeats. I'm not talking about the sorry ones, but I'm talking about the ones who truly want to have a relationship, but because of certain things, they can't do it. Well, we got some comments we gotta get to. I'm gonna get you. I feel you on that, talking to you, Misha, with the child, having a healthy relationship, the mother, but I refuse to sacrifice my life for someone that's toxic. I would rather show my child how both of us are parents. I would never just give up my child because of a toxic parent who's talking to me. Antoine said, my mama out here trying to look like the saints, mama out here trying to look like the saints, but been super, you know what? It's easier to dog the daddy. And then Chanel said, and that issue never goes away no matter how grown you get. You may talk yourself out of caring consciously, but it'll always be there unconsciously, because we like to know where we come from, in my opinion and my personal experience. It's the challenge that parenthood brings. I was judging the fathers of my kids based on my father, but I had to realize that these men are not my father. So I had to understand that they were doing the best they could from their experience. So once I understood that, I was able to co-parent much better. Ooh, parent. Ooh.
Great.
In most states, it is in favor of the mom, but courts have changed now. The courts have been realizing the damage being done to the child. And then Antoine said, man, I had to find a chick to make sure the baby wasn't mine. All she wanted was the baby. Long story short, thank God it wasn't mine. Woo!
Just to piggyback off of what you said, Jay, I haven't heard that part, but I have heard men say that a lot of times they weren't there because sometimes dealing with the mama can be difficult. It can be quite difficult. And sometimes they choose to have peace, even though it's painful to not be a part of the child's life, they choose to have peace because it's so toxic. So the question that I pose is, how do you co-parent? Or what advice could you give a man that's dealing with a woman that's toxic or that's immature or that's using a child because she's still caught up in her feelings? She still wants to be in a relationship with the man. You know, I'm to be honest with you, we as women, we can be a little bit much. If we're not ready to let go. If we're not ready to let go, we do sometimes use the child as a pawn. What advice could we give to those on how to handle those toxic relationships?
Well, I'm not in that situation. Matter of fact, Terrence, what you got? You help the people. Look, LeBron James.
The main thing I could say is finding a level to communicate. and like to really communicate, not just listening to the other person finishes so you can get your point across, like actually looking at the other person's side of things. And then the main thing is looking at the child and what the child needs. Because at the end of the day, your only obligation is to make sure the child is okay. So if that means having a conversation with this person who you all of a sudden don't like, but you liked enough to make the child, then you have to just suck it up and figure out what's best for the child. Come to some type of agreement, come to some type of middle place, and just have open communications. Just keep your feelings out of things when it comes to how you feel about the other person, the other parent. And also, you know, if you feel a certain way about the other parent, don't belittle them in front of the child, because the child's going to remember that sort of thing. Even if you're talking to somebody on the phone, your child could be listening, or you talking to somebody in the other room, your child could be listening and picking up that sort of thing. And then they develop some sort of animosity towards their parent because of your personal feelings.
He's absolutely right. I just remember as a child, I don't have a problem with disclosing my own childhood. My dad used to make promises that he was going to come get me and he would never show up. And I remember I had to be like 12 years old. And I was venting. I woke up that morning just pissed because, again, he stood me up. And my mom wasn't difficult to deal with. And I remember I started talking so much trash. And my mother turned around and she said, "You will not talk about your father in that light." Like, she checked me. She was like, "I know that you're hurt, but you're not going to talk like that." And we sat down at the kitchen table and we had a discussion about it. And I was forbidden to talk about him in a negative light, even though she understood how I felt. And, you know, when I became like old enough, I think I remember asking her this question. I was like, "Why you would never let me talk trash about my daddy? You know, like he just wasn't there and this, that, and the third." And she said, "If I give you permission to trash your dad, and I'm giving you permission to trash every adult." And you learn respect at home. So if I teach you to respect your dad and respect me, then you'll respect everyone else. And that has always carried with me. And that's something that I teach my kids all the time. Like, you know, if your dad said no, okay, I'm not superseding him. I'm not overstepping that boundary. He just says no. Okay, goodbye. You know, and it's just, you're teaching your kids that the importance of respecting adults, not just mom and dad, but it starts at home and it transfers out throughout the rest of your life. And I think that's kind of how the reason why I am who I am is because of Maryland. Is because, you know, I just wasn't allowed to talk about daddy in that light. Like, I just wasn't. And I'll just even get even deeper. Like, I remember when I got married and my mom was like, "You know, your dad should be here." And I said, "He wasn't there. I don't really want him there." And she was disappointed in the decision that I made. She was completely disappointed because she taught me to learn to love past someone's flaws. And I just wasn't ready to do that. And eventually, prior to my dad passing, we were able to mend fences and me accept him for who he was. Yeah. But yeah, like, that's just something that my mom kind of instilled in me, like, love a person past their flaws. Not, you know, yeah, he wasn't there, but it's a reason why. And you're just not mature enough to understand right now.
Well, I tell y'all, man, Miss Misha's story, man, she did her own day and all that, because you were sitting there. I remember one day we were talking, I was like, "Misha, now I'm a nice person, but I don't know where you came from. You got a whole new cloth." This cloth came right
but
straight.
This is all.
It was made out of manna.
Maryland raised me good. She raised me well.
I think that I think about parenting, and I can tell you this part. Mm-hmm. Let's stop lying to ourselves. You know if you're a jacked up person.
Absolutely.
The biggest problem is a lot of people don't want to be accountable for their actions, and it's easier to pass blame. And it's and going all the way down to things. You may not even want it to have a child with them. You may have thought, "Okay, let me just get this quickie and I'm done." You gotta admit that, because when you don't admit it, guess what? The child feels it. A child feels the accident that they were. I don't care what you say, and they can tell, when you really didn't want them around. Also, you know if you are just a jacked up person, and you know if you have a history of jacking things up. So when you know that you struggle with communication and you struggle with those things, come to the table with honesty. See, everybody is trying to say something like mediation don't work if you don't want to be mediated. The court system don't work if you don't want to be regulated. If you don't want certain things to happen, you're going to buck against any type of order anyway. If you just a nasty person, you're a nasty person. It was just like my dad, when he divorced my mom, he chucked the deuces to the whole family. He was like, and out of here. But my mom bashed him so much, I didn't get a chance to figure it out on my own till adulthood. I was like, nope, if my dad was here, he'd be this, and this. And my mom was like, I ain't finna lie to you. She called him out every time. Your dad, he ain't this, he ain't about this. And it took me forever to figure it out. I was in my 20s, and I was like, if she would have just been quiet for a moment, I would have figured this out at 10 and got on with my life. So I went through a lot of those daddy issues later in life, like in my late 20s and early 30s. Because that's when I began to realize, like, oh, she was right. But sometimes we got to figure out things on our own. The only thing that we need to do is focus on being a parent and being the best parent that you can be. Don't feel like you got to overcompensate and all that, because kids know that when you're trying too hard and you're trying to do too much. It's just like when my wife tried to get the deep voice and yell at the kids. Me and the kids look at her like, would you stop? That's just not, that's don't work. Don't yell at all. Just talk sweet, because that's what you're supposed to do. So you know who you are. A lot of people just have a problem with confronting who they are. And so what they do, because they hate dealing with their own demons, they like to cast those demons onto somebody else and try to make it seem like it's them. We got to deal with that. Y'all, we got so many comments. Let me see. Antoine said, should the child automatically go to the mother? How should that be determined?
I don't think so. I disagree.
Using the child as a tool towards others. What you disagree with me? Should we finish?
It was a question.
You said, should the child automatically go to the mother? No, I think the child.
She disagree.
I think the child should go to the parent that's capable of raising a child, whether it's the mother or the dad.
She disagreed with the question.
She said throw the whole question out.
I disagree.
Somebody do that.
I'm gonna steal it. She said I disagree. What y'all think, Terry? Should it go to the child? Go to the mother automatically, Angela or Terry?
Whichever parent is more fit.
I thank you, Terrence. Whatever parent's more fit.
I'm probably going to be the person that gets hate for this, but I'm going to say it like when you start saying things like that have challenged like what has been for a long time. It's like, how do you determine who's fit? How do you do you get a psychologist in for every patient visit or when they do that? And it's like, okay, somebody could be faking for this psychologist. You really don't know the nature of somebody's relationship or how fit of a parent they're going to be. And so what's the easiest way, I think, to determine how people will speedily determine if somebody's fit is financially. That isn't always a good determiner of whether somebody's fit to be a good parent, whether or not they can financially take the child as is at that point in time. So, I mean, this is really getting kind of sticky. And so, I hear what you're saying, and that women may not always be the most fit parent, but, uprooting a whole system based off, the fact that, I don't know the percentage. I don't know the percentage of women who aren't great parents or whatever, but, uprooting it just because some women have, a history of being toxic mothers or just toxic people is it's like a rabbit hole to go down. And I just want to go back for a second when we were talking about birth certificates. So there's two swords to that. So yes, the mothers get preference for that, but a lot of people don't like being on the birth certificate, because then if you want to collect child support, that's a lot for a lot of men to put in. And so if they don't have their name on the birth certificate, they can come to an agreement with the mother a lot easier of how much they're going to financially contribute, visitation, things like that. So for a lot of men, it is easier to negotiate terms for co-parenting when their name isn't on the birth certificate. So I did just want to say that.
When it isn't on the birth certificate?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I did not know that at all.
Yeah.
So me on something else.
Yeah.
Sometimes co-parenting can be hard when there are others in the parent's ear too. Now that's a word. Yeah. Tina said, being consistent is the best way to silence chaos.
Ooh, I love that. Ooh.
She said what she said. I just felt like that was supposed to go after that.
I love that.
Nichelle said she's just grateful she ain't got these issues. Tina said, A toxic woman will soon adapt to consistency. She will stop hitting her head against that wall. Tina, where do you come from? Who is Tina?
That's my cousin.
Oh, so all your cousins all there.
He came in with the mom. Okay.
He put this in the family group. He said, I'm on, y'all.
I'm gonna quote that. Thanks, Tina. I'm gonna quote you, but that's going on Facebook sometime next week.
He just want to hashtag your name.
Yeah, I love that right there. That is amazing.
You got a fan, Misha. Her information is down here in the ticker.
Scrolling across.
It's scrolling across. She Misha, just trust blush, but her husband huge. I just wanted to just let you know. But
thank you, Antoine.
Don't be thanking him. See, let me call Red. I would tell any man to keep a journal of his experiences because your child needs to hear your side. When that child is grown, let them read your point of view. That way they can heal from so much pain.
Oh, great point, Karen. I love that idea.
Yo, y'all ladies are really killing it tonight. Wow.
Woo!
Wow.
Kim said, I hate my father. In my opinion, he was the worst part of me. But I know I'm the same light in that situation I have to make peace with. Okay. Get that out, Kim. The child should not automatically go to the mother. Sometimes the father is more capable of caring for the child. Well, Miss Misha already shut that whole question down. She said she disagrees.
She's not disagreeing.
Fit may not be fit because my cousin's father is fit on paper, but he was domestically violent against my aunt, and he still managed to get custody. And now that he's old enough, he is back with us.
Yeah.
Woo. Karen said, you are so correct. I don't know who. And then she said, my bio mom is toxic, and she's still hitting her head in the wall. And Terrence said,
What up to Dow? Shoot, man. Yeah,
well, guess what? We only made it through one question because of Miss Misha.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You ain't sorry.
Yes, I am. I didn't know that we had multiple questions. I'm sorry.
Real quick with Misha?
Oh, yeah.
We ain't gonna get there.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
Yeah, this is the time that we do positive brother shout out. Well, we shout out, brothers that are making positive impacts. A lot of times we wanted a positive impact. We want to make sure that we highlight those brothers that probably don't get a chance to get recognition because they're doing their thing and can't be on social media like that or for whatever reason. So shout them out, Terrence, since you're up at the top now.
I'd like to give a shout out to my brother, Jeffrey Elmore. He's an outstanding father, outstanding man, and I love him very much.
And we're going to take your cousin, Antoine.
We
got cousin Antoine.
Can't even say him. I said, wow.
Send us a friend request. You our cousin now. You come on every week. Okay, Miss Angela.
I guess I'll give a shout out to Ed Dudley. He's who connected me with Jay. I call him Dwayne, but apparently he goes by Jay.
Guess what? Ed called me Dwayne too, so it's cool.
Okay, see, that's why. So, but yeah, he's awesome. Him in Florida, his wife, they lift each other up. They lift the community up. And he's just a great servant leader. So yeah,
it's dope.
It is dope.
Shout out to Ed, man, for real.
Come on, Miss Misha. And you got people saying that they're gonna bring you back. We're not bringing you back.
Oh yeah, she got.
Yes, bring me back.
You're gonna make it for a month.
You know she gonna come up here for the time. Go ahead, Misha.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my husband, Mr. Reginald Davis. He has blessed me with 2 beautiful children, and then wonderful, amazing stepchildren, who I love and adore. And I pour into them regularly.
You the best bonus mom I've ever met in my life. I'm like, can you be my bonus mom?
And they get cussed out on the regular too.
Yes, they do.
That's what I thought you meant by pour into them.
She really
everything. They get everything.
Yeah, they get everything. They get a cussed out from time to time, and they be like, "Come on over here, baby. Let me sit down and talk to you. Let's find out what's going on in your life. What the hell you got going on, son? What are you doing with yourself? We got to figure this out."
Terrence, your cousin gave you a shout out. Our cousin, cousin Antoine, giving you a shout out. You and our family now. You come over here, cousin Antoine.
Yeah, send us both friend requests.
Right, Terrence. Look for a poem. Wow, brother's doing his positive shout out.
Well, Jay, you can have me back anytime, honey. Just let me know.
Terrence, look for a poem, so you're gonna close us out.
Say it again.
Look for us a poem. Look for a poem.
Oh man.
Not yet, but yeah, be looking for it because he's gonna do his.
All right, so my positive brother shout out. Of course, I always got to shout out to my brother Jay. Man, we up here every week just acting crazy, but at the same time fulfilling our purpose and really speaking to our brothers and doing what we do. Shout out to Terrence, of course. Bro, it was really dope to meet you and really good to hear your input. Shout out to all the brothers that are on the live right now. Especially shout out to all the fathers who are being active and involved fathers despite the situation or what may be going on between the other party. You know, they're the mothers of their children, child/children. I know my man Deshaun is. I would definitely, if I could give somebody a Father Year Award, I would definitely give one of them to him because he's always doing something with his daughter. He's an involved father. He's there, and he never ever says anything bad or otherwise about the mother of his daughter. I'm not saying anything about the relationship. I don't know what the relationship is, but he's always out there. Just you always see pictures of him and his daughter doing stuff, and it's never any negativity. So I mean, he's a very involved father. Has been from day one. So I definitely want to shout him out. And of course, shout out to Dow. Kerwin, Terrence's cousin. He's our cousin.
Cousin Antoine.
Yeah. So really, what I'm saying? Shout out to all the brothers who are going to see this later, who are, going to resonate with what we're talking about. Shout out to y'all too, just because we talk about everything here, good, bad, ugly, and the hard to talk about. So shout out to everybody, for real.
Yep. And I'm just going ahead and just be echoing what my brother said, man, because I would not have done this. Commissioner, I would have not done this had I not had Cordell on my side, man. So I thank you for doing this. I thank you for being in the trenches with me. And I thank you for being here to celebrate with me too, because we're excited. We got to talk about our collaborators, Ian. Mm-hmm. Ian Parks, who is one of our Brother Empowerment collaborators. Yes. Thank you for what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Kerwin, when he don't have on a case.
Superman with the suit.
When he not out there protesting and knocking stuff down.
Freedom fighting.
Right. We thank Kerwin for his support and all the things that he's doing. Terrence, I thank you for being on it. I thank you for being a positive energy. And I think it was good that we were doing love movements at the same time. Yeah. It was another young man who started a love movement, Love the Process, mm-hmm. Who's another one. So we're going to try to get him on too. I thank all of you brothers. Cousin Antoine, yep. Thank you for being on. Our cousin. You our cousin. You come back anytime. Deshaun, you got to find Sean Stewart. I ain't see Sean.
Yep.
Sean, Tadal, thank you. Matter of fact, Tadal, thank you for the conversation earlier this week, man. So I'm just in a place where the first time in my life, I don't know if it's a product of Love is a Parable or product of just finally figuring it out, but it's nothing but positive men around me, positive fathers, positive husbands, just positive men, period. And I want to give a shout out to those father influencers. You may not have children of your own, but you are influencing and helping shape. So I thank people like Cordell for being an extension of my family. So my kids can see another positive male figure. So they'll know that we are really the standard, not the anomaly. So I thank all of those brothers. And closing us out, Terrence is about to read one of his poems.
Yes.
Y'all know this is his first time on live. He do them podcasts.
This is one of my favorite ones. It's a short poem, but like you said, it leaves you thinking. And it's on the back of my book, and it says that strength is the ability to love without the promise of return.
See, didn't I say y'all? Didn't I say? He said it so quick.
Yeah,
everybody like, wait a minute, let me get ready.
Yo, I thought that was the first line.
That's it.
I told you.
Oh man, okay.
I'm getting the book.
If you want more, you have to come pick up the book. Brown Sugar Cafe.
So thank you guys, everybody. Like we say every night, every time we do Brother Empowerment, if you feel that nobody in this world loves you, guess what? You just met 5 people who do. So make sure you reach out and connect with us, engage with us. Remember, you're not in this alone. We love you guys. Y'all have